Keep your center of gravity in the middle of the boat. These boats are very, very stable.
When getting ready for a canoe trip,
The most dangerous thing in the boat is the end of the paddle.
it's a good idea to know how to use your gear.
Your basic paddle stroke, if you can paddle straight down beside the boat, that keeps the boat fairly straight.
Which includes putting on a life jacket before heading out on the water.
So we actually put a canoe launch in one of those just farm ditches that drains the land and then follow it back.
Now, some folks might consider paddling down a ditch an inauspicious beginning. But these adventurous souls are heading into one of the most unique ecosystems in Tennessee, the swamps of Reelfoot Lake. Home to an ancient forest of bald cypress.
This area, they lose their leaves in the winter, which is actually why they're called bald cypress, because they're a conifer that goes bald in the wintertime. We try to make it an educational trip. We talk about the cypress trees, just the history of the area, the beauty, the birds, to let people learn a little bit more about what they're seeing and experiencing.
At first, the trees seem rather ordinary, but it doesn't take long for that to change.
We start out in a field, and then we go to trees that are 15 to 20 years old, and then we go into trees that are 100 years old, and then we go into trees that are 200 to 300 years old. So it makes a really good comparison to see how the forest can change over time.
Most Tennessee forests, including this one, have been logged at least once.
A tree like these right behind us would be 150 or so years old, which would correspond with the last logging in the 1800s. Trees like those two would be probably over 200 years old.
But because older cypress trees are often hollow inside and not good for lumber, many of the oldest trees were left alone.
Cypress trees were here before the earthquake. And some of these trees are 600 years old, and outside of going to sequoia or the redwoods, they're some of the biggest trees you're ever going to see.
Those were really cool. Like, I've not seen a tree that big ever, so I was really kind of shocked. I didn't think they were that old, but I was like, wow, these are really old trees. I'm amazed that they didn't actually log these.
I love to think about how old some of these trees are. 500 to 600 years old is almost incomprehensible, but I just wish I could have seen what they have seen, the history, and that they've survived all this time.
One of the most distinctive features of these trees are their knees, woody growths that form above the roots when the ground is flooded. The bigger the knee, the older the tree.
And as we get on back, we'll even get in some bigger ones. Trees like this, once again, pushing 500 years old possibly. Been here a long, long time.
While some theorize the knees help roots exchange gases or give the trees extra support in the wet, spongy ground, scientists don't really know what they do. One thing is certain, their unique shapes feed the imagination.
Those of us up here in front, look straight in front of this boat beside me and see if you see somebody standing back there in the woods.
I do.
You do. Who do you see? We always call him a movie character.
Oh! Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
They're amazing, awe-inspiring. You can let your imagination just go and see things in them that are kind of fun. I like that.
Of course, trees aren't the only wild things to make a home here.
And going back to the 1980s, there was actually a heron rookery back here, which a rookery is where the herons nest. Herons, egrets, double-crested cormorants were all nesting in here.
Those little silver tags were used to mark every tree that had a nest, almost 3,000 of them.
Of course, Reelfoot is a birding paradise. About 200 species of birds nest here. Over the year, you can see over 300 species of birds.
One of those species is the American bald eagle, an impressive sight in flight, and even more so in person.
I saw the eagle, and I've not been that close to one before. Oh, it's incredible how much Tennessee has to offer. You know, if you go and visit the parks, you see all the moods of Tennessee.
You know, the technology that allows us to transport you to places like Reelfoot every week
without leaving the comfort of your own home is pretty amazing. But it only tells part of the story. To truly grasp the awesome wonder of these wild places, you've got to get out and experience it in person.
I think it's so important for our state and national parks. It gives you the chance for you to go and experience it for yourself, not just see a movie or a picture of it. On the connection, you feel the spark, you know.
Today, Margaret Anthony and her 2 daughters have felt that spark, igniting a fire that shines light into the future.
How do you know where you live unless you actually see where you live? I think it's crucial. I mean, how do you understand the conversations that go on around us about the environment unless you know what the environment is and what it impacts? I think it's necessary to be a part of it.
Makes me feel really good. I like being outside and I like doing things like this because it's really serene and it's really just completely different than just everyday life, and I like going outside of everyday life sometimes.
I think those are the kinds of things that you get to do once or twice in a lifetime, and I wanted my children to see that they can do and see more if they actually get out here and do it. So I loved it.
I'm Ken Tucker on the Wild Side.